Hey everyone. Welcome to day 1 of our 60-day pentesting challenge. I am going to teach you pentesting the way it actually works on real engagements, not the way most courses teach it. And we are starting with methodology, because I have seen talented hackers produce garbage results by skipping this part. If you are a junior security engineer or a developer getting into security, this series is for you. Let us get into it. So pentesting follows 5 phases. Pre-engagement, reconnaissance, scanning and enumeration, exploitation, and post-exploitation with reporting. Every professional framework, PTES, OWASP, NIST, follows this structure with minor variations. The reason is simple. Ad hoc testing produces ad hoc results. If you just fire up Nmap and start scanning without knowing what is in scope, you are going to miss things, waste time, or worse, test something you do not have permission to touch. Let me start with pre-engagement because it is the phase most people skip and it is the one that keeps you out of prison. You need a signed rules of engagement document before you type a single command. This document defines what IP ranges and domains you can test, what hours you can test during, what techniques are off limits, and who to call if something breaks. 1:30 to 2:30, Phase 2 is reconnaissance, and this is where junior testers and senior testers diverge the most. Juniors spend maybe 10% of their time on recon. Seniors spend 70 to 80%. The math is straightforward. Every hour of good recon saves 3 to 4 hours of unfocused scanning and exploitation. Recon splits into passive and active. Passive means you never send a packet to the target. You are pulling information from public sources. DNS records tell you about their infrastructure. Certificate transparency logs on sites like crt.sh reveal subdomains they might not realize are public. Job postings on LinkedIn tell you their tech stack. If they are hiring for Kubernetes and Terraform experience, you know their infrastructure. GitHub repositories from their employees sometimes contain hard-coded credentials or internal URLs. I have found AWS keys in public repos on 3 separate engagements. Active recon means you are interacting with the target directly. 2:30 to 3:30, Phase 3 is scanning and enumeration. This takes your recon data and goes deeper. Where recon told you port 443 is open running Apache, enumeration tells you the specific Apache version and whether it is vulnerable to known CVEs. I always run vulnerability scans in both authenticated and unauthenticated modes. The difference is dramatic. Unauthenticated scans might find 20 issues. Add valid credentials and suddenly you see 200 because the scanner can inspect configurations, installed packages, and security policies. Tools for this phase include Nmap with NSE scripts for service enumeration, Nessus or OpenVAS for vulnerability scanning, Burp Suite for web application testing, and specialized tools depending on the target, things like Bloodhound for Active Directory environments or Nuclei for template-based web scanning. But the tool does not matter as much as how you use it. Running Nmap with default settings misses things. 3:30 to 4:30. Phase 4 is exploitation, and here is the thing most courses get wrong: exploitation should be the shortest phase of your engagement. If you did phases 2 and 3 properly, you are not guessing. You have a list of confirmed or highly likely vulnerabilities and you are proving they are exploitable. You are not firing every module in Metasploit at a target hoping something sticks. The goal is proof of impact. One screenshot showing you accessed customer PII through a SQL injection is worth more to a client than 20 failed exploit attempts. And you need to document every single attempt, successful or not. I use structured SAML logging, 1 JSON object per line, for every exploitation attempt. It records the timestamp, target, vulnerability ID, technique used, whether it succeeded, and any notes. This logging is not optional. Compliance frameworks like PCI DSS require evidence of your methodology. 4:30 to 5:30, Phase 5 is reporting, and I will be honest, this is where most pentesters, even experienced ones, underperform. Your report is the only deliverable the client keeps. The engagement ends, the shell's close, the VPN disconnects, and all that remains is the PDF you hand over. Every finding needs 6 things. A specific title, not just SQL injection, but unauthenticated SQL injection in the login endpoint exposing customer payment data. A CVSS score for standardized severity. Exact reproduction steps that a developer can follow. Evidence including screenshots and request response logs. Specific remediation, not sanitize your inputs, but replace the string concatenation on line 47 of authcontroller.py with parameterized queries using SQL Alchemy. And business impact stated in terms the organization cares about, 5:30 to 6 o'clock, that is the methodology. 5 phases, each building on the last. Tomorrow in day 2 we are setting up our pentesting lab with Kali Linux, intentionally vulnerable targets, and a network that simulates a real engagement environment. Day 3 we start with passive reconnaissance techniques. If you are following along, create your engagement directory structure today and get comfortable with the logging approach I showed. Methodology is not glamorous, but it is what separates a professional pentest from random hacking. I will see you tomorrow.